Alright, what's up, y'all? This is gonna be a good angle. It's gonna be a good angle for this, man. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. A clothing company, yes, but the reason we are one is to address the human body and its natural function, man. There's only one neutral within the entire body, and it has to reside in that neutral. And it's about the skeletal system. The fat content changes, the muscle mass changes, but the skeletal system doesn't. We live on an earth with gravity, with a center line to the human being. The spine, the sternum, the trachea, the nose, and then the jaw, which naturally stabilizes the entire body, has to stay in the center, with feet arches opposing the center, gripping inward. Here we are, a human being, okay? If there's wind noise, if there's other noise, we're raw, real, In the Image Clothing Company, all right? It's as if I'm just here with you delivering this truth because that's what I'm doing. And you just may not be actually right here because as far as I can tell, you're not, okay? What I'm saying though is there's four sides to us as a whole. And we'll talk about that, where clothing sits, and then we'll get into the video talking about how standing is actually the same thing as walking. Standing and walking are the same thing. And I'll show it because it's not any kind of thing I'm trying to make it be, but I'll show that that's the case. So this is one of our fourths of our company. We do more than just what I've said here, but we have to address clothing because it needs to stay centered. Otherwise, placed onto our bodies won't be able to be. And they have to be because of what I was discussing. Eating, standing, walking, sleeping, sitting, hydration. We talk about the human body's function. And keyword, allowing the human body to work. It'll never do anything besides what it will do because it's a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. All right, and there's universal laws. Really, it's God's law. We're designed in the image of Jesus Christ, hence our 5-word name as a whole, In the Image Clothing Company. One other fourth of us is In the Image Clothing Company podcast, where we have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. No beliefs or religions or opinions, but we're all on the same earth and we're placed here together. What is it? Why is it? And we discuss it and have for, as of last night, 108 episodes. Okay? There's another fourth of us, which is In the Image Clothing Company music. And I address sizings and setups of guitars because we use our hands to play them, and the hands are essentially the shoulders, as the feet are essentially the hips. The body only works as a whole, right? So we show how to let that be the case. Now, another fourth is In the Image Clothing Company dogs. Me, Evan Strong, I will personally be breeding purebred standard poodles. But also our phrase and slogan for that fourth of the company is letting dogs stay natural. We live in a modern world, man. It's the 23rd of April, 2025. And going forth, it's only going to get more unnatural, like my stance right now. And that's why these boys are making the sounds that they did at me. Yeah, we have unnatural materials potentially, and often that get sold in dog accessories, and then your dog's maybe eating things that are unnatural. Dehydrated foods in itself is unnatural. Kibble. Collars, leashes, harnesses, they have to stay centered as human beings' clothing does as well. And we will have In the Image Clothing Company clothing available for you to purchase in your size if you get it. Oversized clothing is such a damaging imbalance. But 100% natural materials, staying centered, fitting correct is the way that we allow clothing to allow the human body to work. So similar things when it comes to dogs and things we place onto them, okay? So collars and leashes from In the Image Clothing Company will be having the same intentions behind the design, okay? No alteration, ideally. Now, clothing has to sit in the same location for everybody because of what I was discussing about God designed it, so we can't decide it. Yeah, pants need to be entirely above the hips, so there's no restriction to the pelvis. Slightly higher in the front than the rear for the waistband angle, so the core muscles can do their only job, which is being constantly activated. The body as a whole, right? There's a video on the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here titled The Human Body as a Whole, because it only ever works as that. Tops that we wear, the seams that are on the peak of our shoulders need to actually be behind that evenly, because our shoulders only ever work behind our head, and the edge seams of our shoulders need to just be right at the functionality of the shoulder joint. Okay, there you go, dude. Two things we have, titling them prerequisites under In the Image Clothing Company. Conditional: there's not always ropes in shoes, we call shoelaces. There's not always tags in clothing that are now there. Never was that even a thing until just decades back from today's date. There's only one way to weave ropes across the functionality of the mechanical system of the human feet operation. That's what we call In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, found where you find us, 5 words as a whole, In the Image Clothing Company. And with that, we tie our shoes evenly over toward the center line of the human being, because there is one. Yes, otherwise you can have rotation issues going through your entire body. So when I'm talking about walking and standing being the exact same thing, the word exact, right, I don't know, maybe be a little careful with that, but it is the same thing. Well, you have to have your body just in its only foundational workings that it ever could do anyway to even understand what I'm going to discuss here. And you can do that because we have hundreds of videos as of today's date under In the Image Clothing Company, and we just show how the body works and how to let it, okay? So secondly though, as I was saying, the other prerequisite is removing all tags. Anywhere a tag's placed, it's causing it either a physical gap. Not that the tags are in your ears, but I point to my ears because I get the wind noise. I also get this beautiful white butterfly. And by I get it, I mean I've been given it. Thank you, seriously. But tags are either causing alteration to the body or we remove them. That's actually the only options included within shoes as well. So here we go. Let's get into the video. If it's noisy, it's noisy, all right? That's what we call doing the thing you know you're supposed to, regardless of the circumstance. And so in this stance, if I were to start walking, nothing changes, all right? The human body only ever works as a whole. Here we go. Speaking of holes, the ear canal. Wind noise, all right? I'm a lyricist. Check out In the Image Clothing Company music. The body just has to be activated. As I say, the core of the human being can never deactivate. When I say as I say, I've said this many times in past content for In the Image Clothing Company. As was Evan Strong's body years back, some people are going through life with their core deactivated. It's just the center of your body. The body only can work all together. Otherwise, you go to watch the play and somebody's not playing the role and there's no play to be had. It just doesn't happen. That's how the body is. The core just is part of it. And not only part, but it's the actual center. It's where we hip hinge. It's supporting us in all ways. It's the only way you can breathe, as if your core is activated. Just meaning working the only way that it ever could, unless altered by something. Clothing, okay? No joke. It's the actual cause and the one and only fix to human beings' physical problems. No opinion of mine. In the Image Clothing Company, speaking eternal, universal, unchanging truths. Yikes, right? Standing and walking are the same thing, okay? Here you are standing, and now here I am walking. Nothing changes, and in fact, I don't even have to have both feet on the ground to do either one. Okay, hips are still even. The body only works as a whole, and it just will if we don't restrict it. So here's the thing, I talk about running and how it's damaging to the body, and boy, people want to get all upset about that. Great, do it. There's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled Running, and I went pretty deeply into it, and I've just discussed it in a lot of other In the Image Clothing Company places up until today's date. I will stand on that till the day I die, and I actually sat on it when I talked about it in the podcast episode. Okay? The point is, running's damaging to the body, but if your body's not in its only working position, anywhere any of it goes, all of it has to. It only has a neutral in everything, so it only does what it does. And if it's not allowed to, you might feel like running something you'd like to try to do. And you're damaging your body and deeply ingraining scar tissue and patterning. And there's runners nowadays. But as I said In the Image Clothing Company's podcast's episode titled Running didn't even happen until somewhere around the 1970s, give or take. Anytime before that, if somebody were to just be running, people would be looking at them like, what are you doing? Where are you going somewhere? And that was the case at the same time as it's starting to be something people did. But I discussed why running became something that people do nowadays. And it's just because the world placed onto the natural earth has become so unnatural that human bodies don't work the only way they ever could nowadays. But running is different than walking. Standing and walking are the exact same thing. And I said, you know, be careful with the word exact, but they are. It's the same thing. Because to walk from standing, you just start moving. Okay? The whole point is you're still over your center of gravity, because what's happening is your arm is swinging as your leg is swinging, and your other arm is swinging as your other leg is swinging, and you're still stacked, vertical, the same as you are if you're just standing. Now, the reason I'm talking about running within this is because it's so different. To give some context on how the truth of it is that running is damaging to the human being. It always will be, always has been. Never was something people did until it started to be a thing, a hobby, and a culture is all it is, truly. So, well, all it is, meaning those are the reasons why, but it's really also just so damaging. To run, you'd have to get your body leaning forward to go a speed that's faster than keeping your center of gravity stacked. But when you walk, you're stacked. I'm standing, now I'm walking. I don't have to lean any weird way, I'm just moving, stacked. Standing, walking, right? You're just stacked, and gravity is always still doing the only thing that it ever does on this earth, and pulls directly to its core. And we're on the surface of it, okay? So walking and standing are the exact same thing. You don't activate your core to start walking from standing. You don't try to align your body to start walking. You're standing, and if you're gonna walk, you're just gonna walk. When you walk, you should have all the same rotations and mobility and functionality that you have while you stand. People probably think I'm doing like color guard if they're seeing me. That's similar to what they do, right? With the flags and the stuff, right? So, standing, walking. And I do it with my legs in like a little bit different position than if I were to just maybe normally be standing. But what I'm not doing it in is any other lean or activation level. If I'm here standing, if I'm here standing, if I'm here standing, my body's still activated as an entirety because it always is in the only way the human body actually works. Nothing to train, but if you didn't restrict it, it would just do what it would need to move across the earth. And if any of it's moving, all of it's going, so the body only works how it does. Standing and walking are the exact same thing, okay? So there you go, that's what I'm gonna say. I hear/feel the wind noise, and I don't want to over-explain this. It doesn't matter. I mean, more and deeper understandings and context is great, but I want this video, being such a bold thing, to be something that people might actually watch, because our videos get very lengthy because I go into such depth, so there really just is an obvious, like, oh yeah, there is no opinion to In The Image Clothing Company when people view it, because there isn't an opinion here that we push by any means. Yeah, so short, simple, straight to the point. There you go. Standing and walking are the same thing. Yeah, In The Image Clothing Company dogs, check it out if you'd like to. I will be personally breeding standard poodles, purebreds, and I'm excited for it. So stick around, man. If you'd like, stop in if you'd like, hang out if you'd like. It's a community, it's a familial place. In The Image Clothing Company. Standing and walking are the exact same thing, all right? Standing, walking. Okay. Thank you. It's the 23rd of April, 2025. My name is Evan Strong. This is In The Image Clothing Company, man. Speaking truths, brother. Never will this change, ever. Couldn't, because I didn't design how it is. So I'm just showing you how it is. And I can tell you that, as long as I'm correct about it, all right? And I am. Man.